Alright, what's up guys? So, I thought I'd make this video on my 1v1 map because I know a couple of you guys in the comments on my channels video, basically just, it's all the basics on how to use channels in creative. I'll link that in the bio if you want to give that a watch. But a couple of you guys were asking how to do a button reset for resetting builds after you 1v1. And I made a map that has that, and it's got a couple other things, so I'm basically gonna show you guys all of that, a couple ways to make a really good 1v1 map and a really quick and seamless 1v1 map. So obviously got the starting island, or the starting box real fast. Basically, here's the map. It's on, this purple galaxy. Did that with some barriers. Basically you just set them like the width and length to 100 for like the walls, and the ground is depth 100, and yeah, you just set it to galaxy if you want to make that. It's pretty simple, but yeah, I won't go too in depth with that, but let's go right to the map first. So I've got 8 boxes because I doubt you'll have more than 8 people going into 1v1. Usually it's 2 people, but if you do have more, I made a viewing area so that your friends aren't at the bottom, like mess with you, which people who I play with do that quite a lot. So we've got the viewing area. I've got a teleporter set to the target group is B and this one's A. So basically with teleporters, they send you up to the next teleporter, and it works basically the same as a rift does. So we've got the viewing area, that's way up top, so let me go up to this. So here's the viewing area. This is where the teleporter will lead to. Got some boosters to bounce you up here. Basically, this is on invisible barriers here, so that once you get up here, here's like the edge, so that you don't fall off of it. And then you can basically watch your friends 1v1 on this map. So I think this is a good idea if you plan on having a lot of people on your map, if you're doing like a tournament or something like that. So and then I've also got a weapons free zone so that people aren't shooting down at you, because I used to not have this and I got shot at a lot. So added this here, and then let's go back down to the bottom and we'll talk about one of the main parts of what makes this map so seamless and just effortless. I would say you gotta just get into the whole 1v1 here. So I've got barriers in the center instead of having to edit an actual wall, so that you're not gonna have to do this whole thing anymore where you go like this. So you don't need to do that anymore. This is a barrier here, and basically here's how I set this up, and here's what this does. So I've got 2 triggers that are stretched along to have it on this whole tile here, and then I've got 2 barriers actually. I've got 1 barrier right here on the ground, and then I've got 1 in the ceiling above. Okay, and both these barriers are at half width, or half depth, I'm sorry. So that basically, here's what happens. So you come in on this side, and you're gonna go up here. You step on the trigger. What this trigger will do is it will take away this barrier up top. So let's go over to this. So disable when receiving from channel 2. Okay, so this one is set to channel 2, so the barrier will go away once you step on this here. And same thing with this one. This one's on channel 1 though. This one will get rid of the bottom barrier, and what that'll do is it'll only go off once both players are ready and pressed up against it. So if I were to be pressed up against it and someone else 1v1 was pressed up against it, once we're both pressed, that barrier will go away, and then you guys will be able to start, and then you go up. So let me show what that would look like in game real fast. Alright, so now let's talk about clearing builds with buttons and explosive devices. So if you're looking to find a way to do it with one button and do it infinite times, there's no way right now. There's no way right in creative right now. There's going to be no videos on how to do that infinitely, but here's what I think is the best way to do it with what we've got. So basically, I have a panel of buttons here. It's 30 something, I believe. And then along the edge here, I've got the same amount in explosive devices. And basically, each of these buttons are set to a different channel, and each of these explosive devices are set to a different channel. And it's the same on this side as it is on this side. So both of these are linked. So when one of these goes off, the corresponding one on this side will go off. And it'll destroy both sides here of in this radius, and then it'll destroy this side of the radius. So basically, here's how this works. I've got each of these devices are set up to have 500 structure damage, because that's the max for whatever structure you use. It does not damage indestructible buildings, so that it doesn't break anything else except for what you just broke. And then I've got the blast radius. It can really be full blast radius. You can do it all the way up to like whatever the max is, so 5 there. I just have it at 0.5 because all I'm really looking to break is the stuff in this radius right here. So I'm not really looking to break like everything around, so that's just why I have it like that. But then you've got all of these settings. Make sure you want to have these settings here if you're looking to make this. And then I just have the audio and VFX turned off because you're really just looking for like it to be seamless. Like you don't need a whole show of stuff exploding. If you want to, you can, but I just don't think it's necessary. But here's the biggest thing. So visibility during games, you're gonna want that off just so you don't see these little barrels. And then if you have all of these, the collision during games also needs to be off, because if this is on, once one of these barrels explode, it's gonna break all the rest of the barrels and you can't use it again. So I've got this here, collide against only weapons, just so it doesn't blow up all the other stuff. And yeah, so that's what you're gonna have on here. Each of these are set to a different channel. So this one's channel 50. You know, one of these is probably channel 50. I don't know what this one is, probably 75 or something. Oh, this one's channel 24. Well, I was a little bit off there, but so let's put this wall back here. So now we've got each of these clear build buttons, and once you use a button, I have it set so that you can only trigger it once, and then it'll turn red so that you know you've already used it. If you want to go with the panel sort of button, so that you know exactly which ones you've used and you know how many you have left. Realistically, if you're 1v1ing like 32 times without restarting the map, I mean, good for you, but it's really not going to happen too much. So you really don't need necessarily infinite triggers. If you run out, in the case that you do 1v1 over like 30 something times, you can always just restart the map. It's pretty quick and easy. But yeah, I think this panel is pretty good. It's a pretty good idea in my opinion. So yeah, we'll see what that looks like in game. Let me show you what that looks like in game after you 1v1. Alright, so now I'm going to show you, I have another button. I have 2 more buttons on this panel. This button is for resetting the 1v1 barrier. So as you guys have seen, the barrier goes away when both players are ready and press up against it. And then when you come back down to the bottom, you're going to want to press this reset 1v1 barrier button. And this one is set to channel 5. All you're going to want to do for each of these is just have it enable when receiving from whatever channel you have the button connected to. So for this one, it's channel 5. Both of these will turn back on once you press that button. And then the other button I have is press for traps. And basically this button it's another use once button and then it goes away. And basically when you press this button here, it'll give all the players, I believe, like 50 traps or something like that. So that each player doesn't have to pick them up, you know, it just grants it to all the players. So I've got that. Yeah, you can really do kind of whatever you want with that. Let me replace this here. But yeah, I think that's the best way to make really a 1v1 map. Make sure you have a viewing area if you plan on having multiple people. That's how you do the reset the builds, which I'm guessing most of you guys are watching for if you are looking this up on YouTube. And then obviously the barrier in the center, so you don't have to edit a wall. It makes it a little bit more seamless. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed and if this helped you out, make sure you leave a like, and I would really love for you guys to subscribe. I have a Twitch channel as well. It's the same as my YouTube. Getting that started up. So yeah, if you enjoyed, yeah, make sure you check out some of my other content. I've got some other tutorials up. I've got an advanced way to use channels and the simplified way to use channels, as I've mentioned before. So go ahead and check those out. I don't just post creative. I post some other like videos, some stream highlights sometimes, and some other good games, and yeah, stuff like that. So thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, see you.